author of Fit Yummy Mummy and the fabulous Intervals for Moms kit, and I just want to bust 3 big mistakes that we are making with our interval training. And I see it all the time. I hear it in the forums at Club FYM. I hear it in the emails that I get in my support inbox. So I just want to bust these 3 big mistakes and help you make better choices when it comes to creating and following through with your interval training workouts. Big mistake number 1 is that you are not working hard enough during the highs, during the work periods of your intervals. And what I mean by highs is that, just as a recap, interval training is when you alternate bursts of intensity, high intensity work, followed by active recovery, and you're repeating this timed circuit for X amount of rounds. Now, how do you know if you're not working hard enough? Well, the first part is that you can smile and talk and sing during your interval training workout. If that is the case, that is a telltale sign that you are not working hard enough. Number 2, if you get to 15 minutes of an interval training workout and you feel like you can continue for 15 minutes more, then that is absolutely an indication that you are not working hard enough. So you got to go back and fix it by looking at the movement that you chose to do during that work period, during that high, and seeing if there's a way to increase the intensity of that movement. And if not, then it's a matter of choosing something that's more challenging to meet your fitness level. For example, I love to use burpees. Burpees are a great full body metabolic movement, and this is, just to demonstrate, this is how you can do burpees in a more doable fashion. And then I'm going to show you how you could kind of turn up the intensity. So just really kind of taking your time with the movement. Maybe you're eliminating the jump. You're taking a nice pause between each movement versus turning up the intensity. Notice I did not talk while I was doing that because I was focused on the movement and I was focused about giving my all. Another example, jumping jacks. It's a great go-to movement when you're doing interval training. And that could be, yeah, I'm smiling. I'm just doing my jumping jacks. Versus, let's turn up the intensity. See the difference? I took 2 movements that you could be possibly using for your interval training workouts and made sure that there is a more intense version of doing them. You will know when you're doing intervals correctly when you hit the 8-minute mark and you are like, wow, you mean I have to continue for X amount of rounds or X amount of more minutes in order to complete my interval training session. Intensity is what makes interval training effective. Interval training mistake number 2. You're not truly taking an active rest during your interval training workout. Active rest meaning, remember, we work intensely for X amount of seconds. It could be anywhere from 20, 30, 60 seconds, and then you're going to take an active rest. So it could be 15, 20, 30, 60, whatever timed interval that you're following. Now, the mistake that many moms I see making are that they are concerned with their heart rate, keeping their heart rate up and keeping moving and keeping holding on to that intensity so that they really feel the burn, they're really working out. No, because what's happening is you're burning yourself out, so that way the next time you go to do those, for example, those burpees, the intensity at which that you could give during the first couple rounds begins to diminish. And remember, interval training is effective because they're intense. So if you're doing things that affect and diminish the intensity of the workout, you are kind of spinning your wheels or going backwards with the whole point of doing interval training. Now, active recovery, there are so many different options, and it's really up to you to kind of choose something that works best for you. It depends on the timed interval that you're following, whether or not you're doing interval training right after your strength training or not. But guess what? Active recovery can look like this, where you're truly allowing yourself to recover and catch your breath. There is no rule that says you have to do something more than march in place. If you want to kind of swing your arms around and kind of do this, great. But you don't have to go from because that's not taking a break. All right? I don't care how fit that you think that you are. Because what's going to happen is you're going to begin to modify that move that you chose to do for the highs. So, when it comes to active recovery, rest. You don't have to lay on the floor. Ideally, you're upright and you're allowing yourself to breathe and catch your breath. Take the rest. All right, interval training mistake number 3 has to do with changing up your workouts. Now, I see this as twofold. Number 1, we all know that with our workouts, if you don't change them up, your body's going to hit a plateau. And when it comes to interval training, what I see a lot of women doing as a mistake is that they keep doing the same movements over and over again. Number 1, because it's comfortable and familiar, and number 2, a lot of us are have a lack of ideas of what else do I do. You know, how can I change my workout up? I have no idea, so I'm just going to stick to what I know. Not a good idea if you want to see the most effective fat loss results from your interval training program. So what I advise with my Fit Yummy Mummies is that just like your strength training workouts, we're changing them up every 4 weeks, same thing needs to happen with your interval training workouts. I even encourage the Fit Yummy Mummies to have an A and a B interval training workout to rotate between for that 4-week period, so that each month you're starting a brand new strength training workout and interval training workout. It keeps your body guessing, keeps your body on your toes, and keeps your metabolism burning at its highest, and absolutely keeps those fat loss results coming strong. The other part of the change up has to do with, and I see this so often in Club FYM, is that we're adding way too much variety to our interval training workouts. What do I mean? Well, because you're like, well, Holly, you just said add variety. No, I'm also seeing the other extreme, and that comes from the fact that, like what I just showed you here, is that intervals could be made up of burpees, jumping jacks, any type of jumping lunges. You don't have to jump around. You could walk, you could sprint. But whatever you're choosing, I encourage you to choose at least 2 movements to rotate between for those highs, for those work periods. Remember, whatever you do for your active recovery, up to you. And then stick to those 2 movements. This is not a matter of I have 10 rounds of intervals to do, so I have to pick out 10 different exercises. That just keeps you busy. Activity does not equal achievement. Your body needs repeated exposure to the same types of movements in order to elicit change. Plus, the whole concept of interval training is that, hey, you know, I just was intense with my burpees. You know why? Because during that 30-second interval, I counted and I was able to get 8 done. Just saying. So that way, every time that you go to complete your burpees again, you're like, I gotta at least match 8 burpees or do better than that. If you don't repeat an exercise or a movement, how the heck can you measure your progress, and how the heck can you set personal records to match or beat? This all comes into play when it comes to performing interval training workouts that elicit the best possible fat loss results. Plus, it keeps them fun, because what's more fun than creating a challenge for yourself and meeting or beating that challenge and then taking a look at your brand new body when you look in the mirror? If you need ideas, you need some support, that's exactly what the Intervals for Moms kit is all about. Grab it while it's on sale.
Woo! Put this on a zip disk, send it to your lawyer. File me on the funky, like sipping lemonade.